everyone. Welcome to the Gutenberg walkthrough. With each Gutenberg release, I'll be reviewing the more visually impactful changelog items. Today we're reviewing Gutenberg 9.0, and 9.0 is packed with a lot of visual changes, so let's jump in. Two of the big features were added to the query block and the navigation screen, so I want to go over those in Gutenberg and the Gutenberg editors. But before we do, I just want to point out that in the Gutenberg plugin under the Experiments tab here, these two checkboxes will need to be checked on to allow us to see the new navigation screen, which is in beta here, and to enable full site editing, which allows us use of the query block, which is an interesting block coming in. But I'm going to save these changes, and then we're going to jump into some posts. I've got one for 9.0 drafted up here. So the query block is an interesting block that basically is going to act similarly to the WP query in PHP and pull in various custom post types or post types like pages and posts and everything, and you'll be able to filter through this query to show like your archive page or your search results page, all sorts of things. But if we grab it here, so you'll see query, there's a query loop, and even a query pagination. All these blocks are going to be working together. I'm pretty sure query and query loop are actually being combined right now. But notice when I add this block, if I jump up to the loop, up to the query block here, right? So I can sort it, and there's a lot of work being done on this block right now. So this isn't even half of what we're going to see in the very near future. There's settings I can go through, and you'll see that it pulls the post title up here and displays content. If I want to, like, cool thing about this is I can edit right in here. If I want to include the post author, I can do that, and you'll see that it updates throughout the block itself, which is kind of a cool way. So I can, right now I'm displaying 3 posts basically. Let's say I want to update and go back up to the query block. Let's see if I have the setting here to show feature. I don't yet. It's not included yet, but I can like show the featured post or featured image of various things I'll be able to turn off and on and display throughout this. So this is a really cool block. It's getting a lot of work right now in design, as I mentioned. The other part that I did want to show, let's just save this draft and we'll jump back to the navigation screen. So this beta right here. Navigation screen. So if most of us are familiar with the menus screen here in WP admin, now this navigation screen is kind of bringing the idea of blocks into the menus, creating the menus. You'll be able to add new menus, change the menu locations. This is looking a bit more like Gutenberg now, so I've got my generic here, my menu. This is my main menu. I can switch to show my menu 1 instead, in which case I don't have it really created, so I'd have to create it. But if I jump back to the main menu, I can see all my stuff here, and I've got this really cool list view, which is going to be integrated into the post editor as well, if not already. But you're able to click on some of these items. You can add further blocks below each one nested inside. And the cool thing here is that I can like change their order in this list view. It updates over here, which is really cool. I can do some other additional things here, and I believe it doesn't look like I thought there was. Oh, there we go. Drag and drop. How cool. Okay. That's pretty exciting. All right, so navigation view is getting a lot of updates. I'm going to jump us back to the post editor where we can maybe take a look at some of the other features that are in 9.0 that came out recently. Drag and drop. A drag handle has been added. So check this out. So a lot of the confusion around dragging and dropping blocks in the editor was because it really required you to know that if you clicked on the arrows and started dragging, it would kind of perform this function, right? Where you could drag and drop them in different places. Um, but now they've pulled that out and made it its own icon, really kind of enforcing the idea of a drag and drop. And notice these little up and down arrows. That's really cool. They animate with your hover. Let's see, the pencil icon I know was recently updated to, so if I've got this image linked, the edit icon here basically has been updated to kind of match this icon up here for the edit mode rather than showing the older dash icon. There's the, yeah, we've got the forward slash inserter, they call it. So if you click forward slash like that, you pop up a quick list of the 9 most used blocks by default. So this has kind of got an update to it. And another thing to add is that that some of the transform tools, right? The icons are on the left side here that really kind of match this similar feeling as the quick inserter here, which has been updated visually so that there's a little more consistent placement of icons in the UI. And we've got something now which is really cool, like sharp gradients, which I absolutely love. So if I get this cover block in place, I go over here to gradients, pick a gradient, right? This really nice smooth transition. But one thing that is now allowed is that as I bring these two nodes together in the gradient picker here, that I can put them right on top of each other, giving me this really sharp line. And if you imagine, like, you can do some really cool things with that. Let's say I create a heading that is big. Okay, I'm just going to play around with this real quick. Bear with me because I want to test this out. I'm going to pull up my color meter here. I'm going to copy this background color, which you'll see why in a second. But I'm going to check this, grab this color. I'm going to paste like my background color here. And then I'm going to do that also here. And you can, as you can see already, you could start getting some really interesting effects. Actually, I'm changing the direction, the angle of this gradient, and what, like, okay, trying to add myself another point. Okay, looks like now I have another point. Okay, so this is basically, bear with me everybody. What I'm going to do now is kind of get this color right across. Okay, so now coming in here, if I make this, I'm going to jump over here. I'm going to make a hard line here, and then I'm going to drag this hard line like right here. Now I'm coming back to this heading. I'm going to change the color to like black maybe. I'm going to blow this up to 48. Oh, maybe that's too much. 32, no. Maybe it was good at 24. Okay, so you kind of get this idea that now I can start playing with shapes and hard gradients to get an effect where it looks like the background is only a portion of kind of the text that's overlapping what's going on here. You can do this with an image as well, like an image here, and maybe it's overlapping part of this or not. And it provides some really creative layouts. It's basically what's going on. So I really like this feature. Next is another little addition. We were talking about icons earlier, right? So the Add reusable blocks has an updated icon now next to its menu item. It's kind of cool. Markup. Does anybody like Markdown? Actually, Markdown. Sorry. It does accept some Markdown functionality now. So if I do a #1 and then this is a heading, it automatically converts this to a heading using Markdown. Remove some of these blocks here. And oh, I know, there's another one about multiple heading blocks. Heading. So let's say I do this. Okay, I get a heading and I'm going to duplicate this, right? And so I have a couple of headings here. Well, let's say, I don't know if I want them all to be a heading. I don't want to have to go through each one and convert it, right? Now, what I can do is I could select all of them, all the ones I want to convert, and transform them. So now they're all paragraph blocks, right? Or doing a similar thing here, like, I want them all to be in a list. I can do that. That's really improves my efficiency at typing my posts there. The search block has seen some changes recently. So let's open that up, which is really cool. So I've got these new icons here, and they all kind of do a little something on the search block. So you'll notice the search block has an input field, a button, and a label. If I want to turn off that label, I could and not use the label. This little funky icon here kind of has some interesting layout options, which button inside. So if I choose like the button inside, it puts the button inside my search field. I can move the button back to the outside. I can say I just want the button only. Or maybe I don't want any button and I just want the search field. And then what's cool about this as well, so if I put button outside, here I can have a text button or an icon button, right? And then I can move that button on the inside of my form field, my field here, and get a little different layout. It kind of gives me more options with what I can do with that search field now. And another addition to this to the editor for accessibility purposes, a lot of times people kind of get confused with some of these icons up here. They're not always very clear. So there's an option for this. Go down to options. We can show button text labels instead of the icons. So clicking this, dropping out, shows me the text of each button rather than the icons itself. Which is kind of a cool feature there. And that pretty much covers most of the major features that were involved with 9.0. So I appreciate everybody's time. I hope you're all staying healthy out there, and take care. Thank you.